going on, guys? How's your guys' day going? Hope you're having a good day. My day's okay. Thank you for asking. Apologize if I look a little messy, if I look hot. I just got all this heat on after the Seahawks. Took them down, easy peasy. Had no other expectation. That's just how you get it done. I had to come on here and let you guys know how it's done. We should have three. But apparently we had a snake in the grass trying to get an MVP. If you don't know who I'm talking about Russell Wilson. Don't even get me started. That would be a 6-hour long video if I started trying to explain to you how ridiculous that was. But everybody already knows. That's not the point of this video. I just had to come on here, flex. But anyways, today's video is going to be somewhat similar to the previous video. Some more unfinished thoughts, some more things that are on my mind, things that I really can't put into words. And that in of itself is the focus, is not being able to find a way to encapsulate the things that we experience, right? Like, if you were to see a bird for the first time, right? Like, let's say you're a child, or let's say, you're just seeing something new, something brand new for the first time that you've never seen before. You do not know how to attach meaning to this thing because you do not have the words yet to categorize it. And yet, I believe that is the very reason as to why things are so beautiful, right? Like, if you see a bird for the first time and you don't know the name of that bird and you don't know what that bird is, you only know what it is you're seeing and nothing else. That is everything. That is everything, right? And it is only until you name that bird that you take away, because you will never see the same bird that you initially saw after having named it. And so it might sound, how would I put it? I'm trying to take more pauses. I'm trying to allow myself to think out loud more often. So I apologize if I take a little bit longer to get to a point. But it's almost like what I want to say is, if you've ever heard the quote, the same man cannot step into the same river twice, right? And then, the follow-up is, because the man and the river have changed. And it's meant to signify that, as you experience life, you change in the same way that the stream of a river does. At least that's how I'm using it in this context. And so I liken that to how I'm trying to describe experiencing things and not being able to speak about them. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that is where intelligence and transcendence meet. Because I'm starting to notice more often than not that a lot of what I think and a lot of what I feel and a lot of what I quote unquote know comes from my almost, I don't want to say ability in terms of like prowess or skill, but just the way in which the brain works. Because I feel as though that what happens is I am able to animate dead thoughts as though they are living, the same way that, like, you might, be a puppeteer, right? You take this thing that is not living, or something that you are not experiencing, and yet your mind is capable of convincing you of whatever it is that you're thinking about it. And that might sound obvious, that might sound like surface level, but it's like think about it like this, right? You know how when people say all the time, oh, well, think from a different perspective. Oh, put yourself in their shoes. Be open-minded, right? There are plenty of people who are capable of doing that, right? And I used to think that I was one of those people until recently, that I now truly understand that I can't. And not like as in I'm unwilling, but how truly difficult that is to try and do through thinking alone. And so the only other solution, at least what I believe, is speaking out loud. You cannot, or at least I shouldn't say you, I cannot think outside of myself, outside of my mind through my thoughts. Because it's like there's like a tunnel, and that tunnel is so structurally sound that everything that flows through it, although it is, I guess you could say, it is passing through the filters, but ultimately what it comes out as will only be the same things, even if they look different. I hope that makes sense. And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's very difficult for me. But I like that it's difficult to speak out loud in this way, because I feel as though that it's starting to force me to look at things as they are and not as I think they are. Right? Like, if I had to put it into words, I would say, let what is be sufficient before you apply meaning to it or anything, before you apply any type of pressure or cognitive thought, right? Like, it's like letting a thing or an experience or a thought come to you as it is and nothing more. But the problem with that is that, at least for me, I suppose it comes down to what that thing not only is, but what it isn't. At least that's how I believe that I think about things. I choose to look at things in a way where it's, okay, what is this thing, or what isn't this thing, right? Instead of asking myself, what is this thing? I believe that it's much more, I guess you could say, accurate or authentic to try and tell myself what it isn't. But even then I still notice, I still know deep down inside, not even necessarily notice, because, my mind isn't going to notice those things, because it's normal. It's normal for me or anybody to think about a thing in the same way that they would think about anything, right? And so to truly try to step outside of you, I guess that's where I'm at. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And you want to know what's so beautiful? Is that there doesn't have to be an answer. There doesn't have to be an end, right? The plane never has to land. You can fly without having landed. And I think that's where I'm at. And I'm enjoying thinking, and I'm enjoying experiencing things so much more, knowing that there does not have to be a conclusion, right? In the same way that I said, you see a bird and you yet not know what that bird is or what it is, and yet it strikes you. It is as real as it will ever be. And it is only until you force it to be something else by attaching or just conceptualizing. I don't know. I don't even know what word to use. And I guess I'm trying to do that with myself. I'm trying to look at myself in that way, right? Like, I am the bird. I don't want to put my system in a system. I don't want to run my filters through my filters. I just want things to be as they are. And I always, these type of conversations, they always make me think about, the greatest minds of history. People like Marcus Aurelius and Alexander the Great. And, not Genghis Khan because he was a good person, but just because of his mind. But what I always notice is that they are not only brains, but also bronze. And it's so interesting to me because, like, yes, there are many, many differences between those type of men and just people in general than who we are as a people now. But there's something about the fact that they're a warrior and a scholar that I am so fixated on. And I don't know why. I don't know why I'm so fixated that there's something there. There has to be. There has to be something there. And the reason why I'm even bringing them up in the first place is because when you hear them speak, or when you hear them talk about things, I don't want to say that they have the most accurate understanding, but they have the most accurate method. Does that make sense? Like, if I had to give you an example, let's say you want to learn how to cook, right? And you have Gordon Ramsay teaching you. You don't think that, you're not thinking to yourself, oh, I want to be Gordon Ramsay. I want to do what Gordon Ramsay does. There's a big difference. And I feel like I feel the same way. I don't want to be Marcus Aurelius. I don't want to be Alexander the Great. But I want to know, or not even know. I shouldn't even say that. I don't know. I want to arrive at the same, like, pruning. Like, I want to find what it is that they are not, that I am. I don't know. But it really is so much more interesting to think this way, right? Like, even if I am talking to you, even if I am trying to explain something, just this way of thinking is different, very different, and I'm not used to it. And I hope that, not that I get better, because that's not the goal, right, with these kind of things, but I hope that I don't know, that I learn the tools of the trade, not the rewards, right? Like, I hope that I can be applicable without so much interest in anything else. Like, even a lack of interest in being understood, because that's something I've always struggled with. Always, my whole life, I've always wanted to be understood. And I'm starting to think that is the reason why I'm not. Is because I'm trying so hard. Like, the same way that you chase a cat, the more you chase a cat, the more it's going to run away. And so these things are not forced. These things are not like a blacksmith, right? The things of the mind are not like formed, or I don't know. I don't yet know what these things are. And I guess that is the conclusion for the time being, right? And it makes it so hard because I'm so desperate. I'm so desperate to know. And I have to resist. I have to hold back. I have to know when I'm overreaching. I have to know when I'm, animating those dead thoughts, like I said. And what I mean when I say that, even that, what I just said right now, right? Constantly having to correct myself. I don't like that. I need to put more trust in the fact that people will just understand instead of constantly trying to correct. Because that's not the way that things are. It's not like that. It's not like something comes at you and then oh, let me fix that for you. No. I don't think that's the appropriate way to go about it. But irrespective of that, I guess the point that I was trying to make is, there comes a sense of not loneliness, but like yearning. And I feel like those two things are similar, and I can't yet say why. I don't really know why, but I have like a feeling. I have a feeling that those things are similar. Like there is this sense of yearning that I want there to be that authenticity, not just with myself, but with everybody else that I talk to, and the things that I talk about. Because, I was saying how I'm able to animate dead thoughts, right? It isn't that I'm trying to make something of nothing, but instead I'm speaking about things instead of speaking from them, right? Because obviously the opposite of a dead thought is a living thought. And I feel as though that my living thoughts are openly expressed the same way I am now. They are a moment that you are within, like a moment of insight. You're speaking from a moment of insight, not about a moment of insight. Because once you finish that thought, once you have ended, once you have already decided something, once you have already thought something up, that thing is now dead. That thought, that experience, now it's a dead thought. And anything after that is more than likely going to be, like I said, puppeteering. The puppeteering of the mind. And it is only living so long as you are in it. But that means that you have to know. And that's where I'm at. Is knowing the difference between puppeteering and experiencing. And so I guess that's it. That's where we should leave off for the time being. It's already been 20 minutes. It goes by so fast, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Hope you have a good rest of your day.